It is my pride, pleasure, and privilege to welcome you to Writing Tips. My name is Joseph Jacob. In our last video, we started our discussion on Concord. In this video, we are going to focus on the type of sentences where it will be right to use a singular verb. For us to know when it is appropriate to use a singular verb, we must be able to differentiate between a singular verb and a plural verb. We must also have the ability to change a plural verb to a singular verb. So let's consider 30 verbs, looking at their plural and their singular forms. Here we have 30 verbs in their singular and plural forms. We have has as a singular verb. To make it plural, it becomes have. Does, singular. Do, plural. Says, singular. Say, plural. Gets, singular. Get, plural. Makes, singular. Make, plural. Goes, singular. Go, plural. Knows, singular. Know, plural. Takes, singular. Take, plural. Sees, singular. See, plural. Comes, singular. Come, plural. Thinks, singular. Think, plural. Looks, singular. Look, plural. Wants, singular. Want, plural. Gives, singular. Give, plural. Finds, singular. Find, plural. Tells, singular. Tell, plural. Walks, singular. Walk, plural. Seems, singular. Seem, plural. Feels, singular. Feel, plural. Tries, singular. Try, plural. Leaves, singular. Leave, plural. Calls, singular. Call, plural. Is, singular. Are, plural. Becomes, singular. Become, plural. Accepts, singular. Accept, plural. Admits, singular. Admit, plural. Buys, singular. Buy, plural. Arrives, singular. Arrive, plural. Sings, singular. Sing, plural. Kills, singular. Kill, plural. We can notice that the verbs with s are often the ones that are singular, and the ones without s are the plural forms of the verb. We also notice a big difference between is and are. When we use is, it means that the subject is singular, and when we use are, it means that the subject is plural. With what we've considered so far, I am confident that you can now easily identify a singular verb. You also know what to do to change a plural verb to a singular verb. Now, let's look at 6 situations where we can use, or where it is important and right to use a singular verb. The first is one of the fundamental rules of Concord, which states that when the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. So when we are making a sentence, and in that sentence our subject is singular, we are expected to use a singular verb. He eats once a day. He is a singular subject So definitely it will go with a singular verb, eats. Number 2, she eats rice every day. She is also a singular subject. That is why the verb should be eats with an S. Steve, a name of a person, a single person, eats noodles every morning. She, that is number 4, another singular subject, goes to market every day. Now, even when an individual is mentioned with his full names, that is his first name and his surname, it is still a single person. It must also go with a singular verb. Erling Haaland is a dangerous striker. Number 6, the principal and mathematics teacher is around. This sentence is very interesting. You will understand that the principal is the same person as the mathematics teacher. So even though we are looking at two subjects here, for the fact that both subjects we are referring to the same person, even though we use the coordinating conjunction and, since we are still referring to the same person, we use a singular verb, is. So if we have another article, they, here, to make the sentence the principal and the mathematics teacher, the second day before the mathematics is an indication that the principal is different from the mathematics teacher. But the fact that there is no article they here, it means that the principal and mathematics teacher is still referring to the same person. So we use the singular verb is for the sentence. So when we have two subjects or even three, all of them referring to one person, it will still go with a singular verb. The second situation where it is important and necessary that we use a singular verb is when the sentence starts with words like every, each, anybody. When we have sentences that start with these words, we are expected to use singular verbs. Number 1, each player is asked to buy a ball. Because the sentence started with each, it must go with a singular verb is. Number 2, every striker is a goal getter. Is a singular verb because of the word that started the sentence every. Anybody who gives her money gets a flower. Anybody makes the first verb gives a singular verb. We also have another verb gets a singular verb as well. Number 4, everyone has arrived. Even though everyone might be giving us the impression of there are separate individuals involved, but for the fact that everyone is used, the verb should be singular, has. The same thing applies to number 5. Everyone leaves for work in the morning. Even though the everyone gives the impression of individual persons, not just one person, but for the fact that everyone is used, it should go with a singular verb, leaves. Now, number 6 is very interesting. Each teacher and pupil has a cake. Teacher and the coordinating conjunction and pupil gives the impression of a plural subject. But for the fact that the word each has started the sentence, it must go with a singular verb, has. Number 7 is similar. Each man and woman has to attend. The each that started the sentence makes the has here correct. Number 8. Every player and coach knows the offside rule. Player and coach should have made it a plural subject, but the every made it right to use a singular verb, knows. Number 9. Each cake and soft drink. Cake and soft drink belongs to someone. The belongs, which is a singular verb, is used because of the word each. Number 10. Each dribble and pass attracts a singular verb, an applause from the fans because of the word each. The third type of sentence where singular verb is indispensable is when the sentence has to do with amount of money or a unit of measurement. Definitely, when a sentence has to do with an amount of money or unit of measurement, there will be numbers in that sentence. Don't let those numbers confuse you. Stick to the rules of using a singular verb for such a sentence. When we are dealing with amount of money and unit of measurement, it can be very challenging. Let's look at this example. Number 1, $10. $10. It is not $1. So it gives the impression of several amounts of money, isn't it? But the right verb to use is the singular verb has, not have, just been withdrawn from the account. So the correct sentence is $10 has just been withdrawn from the account, not have. Second example, 100,000 euros. Despite the amount of money, you use is, a huge sum of money. Number 3, 5,000 rupee is too much for the job. Number 4, in the first 3 examples, we've considered amount of monies. Now let's look at use of unit of measurement. In number 4, the unit of measurement we have here is kilometers. 5 kilometers, you must use the singular verb is, a long distance, not are. Number 5 too is about unit of measurement, liters. 10 liters of fuel is, not are, is not enough. The fourth situation where a singular verb is the right verb to use is when we have a plural tantum in the sentence. Plural tantums are singular nouns, but they are spelled as if they are plurals. So if you are not careful, because of the way they are spelled, you might be tempted to use a plural verb, which will be wrong. So when you have plural tantums in your sentence, insist on using a singular verb. Let's look at some examples of plural tantums. We'll also construct some sentences using a singular verb. For us to understand these pluralia tantum easily, we try to classify them into 4. We talk about field of study, games, diseases, and other words that fall under this category. Under field of study, we have words like mathematics, physics, economics, statistics, ethics, classics, and aesthetics. Under games, we have checkers, dominoes, marbles, billiards, cards, darts, aerobics. Under diseases, we have measles, mumps, rabies, and shingles. Then, in other words that have no classification, we have news, scissors, spectacles, trousers, pants, odds, heroics. There are other pluralia tantum that are not in this list. But we just want to use this list to help you to understand that these words are spelled as if they are plurals. When we see them, we don't let the way they are spelled to confuse us. We still use a singular verb for them. Here are some examples. Mathematics is, not are, is a difficult subject. Despite the way it is spelled as if it's a plural, we still use a singular verb, is. Measles is still a deadly disease. Billiards is my best game. The news is painful. We don't say the news are painful. The scissors is mine. So, when we are dealing with pluralia tantum, we use a singular verb, despite the way it is spelled or pronounced. The fifth situation where you are expected to use a singular verb is when your sentence starts with the word none. No matter other words that are used in the sentence, as long as the sentence has started with the word none, use a singular verb. Once our sentence starts with the word none, no matter what is written in between, we need to use a singular verb. None of the guests is in plural, but for the fact that we've started with none, it will go with a singular verb, has arrived. Number 2, none of the students. Take note that the students is in plural form, yet we use is ready for the examination because we started the sentence with none. Number 3, none of the oranges is sweet. Number 4, none of the kidnapped children is plural, but we use is because of the word none, which we used in the beginning of the sentence, is rescued yet. Number 5, none of the houses is painted. House is plural, but because of none, we go for a singular verb, is painted. Lastly, it is important and necessary that you use a singular verb when the word lots is used before an uncountable noun. As long as the word lots precedes an uncountable noun, it is important and necessary, and in fact the right thing to do, to use a singular verb. When we use the word lots and we have an uncountable noun like rice, the verb will be a singular verb. That is why the first sentence reads, lots of rice is sold every day, not are sold. Number 2, lots of sand. Sand is the uncountable noun, so it will go with a singular verb, has. So lots of sand has been poured into the gully. Number 3, lots of water. Water is an uncountable noun. Lots of water passes, not pass, passes through the channel when it rains. However, there are some sentences that will be right if you use the singular or the plural verb. All you need to do is to adjust the structure of the sentence or to use some certain words. In our next video, we'll consider these types of sentences. We'll also look at when it is appropriate to use a plural verb. This is where the curtain falls on today's video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a highly rewarding day. Bye-bye.